This is our 1700s World Trade Map graphic organizer. We're going to start off with our learning targets. Our learning targets, read these with me. I can share accurate information in complete sentences. I can explain in complete sentences how trade impacted different countries in the 1700s. I can list different countries' imports and exports. Before we begin, we're going to go over our academic vocabulary. Repeat these after me. Cardinal directions. Cardinal directions. Landmass. Landmass. Great Britain, England. Great Britain, England. Coast. Coast. H2O, H2O. Solar radiation, solar radiation. Temperature, temperature. Moderate, moderate. Current, current. Shallow, shallow. Import, import. Export, export. Trade, trade. Spice, spice. Okay, this is my 1700s World Trade Map. Because it is a map, I'm going to add my cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. Now for my map, I'm going to begin with my continents. Say that with me, continents. Continents. And continents are large land masses. Say that with me. Large land masses. And continents make up of 29% of Earth's surface. Say that with me. 29% of Earth's surface. Now we're going to say the different continents. We have Australia. Say that with me. Australia. We also have, in the south, we have Antarctica. Say that with me. Antarctica. Next, one of the continents that we're really going to focus on, because it was extremely busy during this 1700s time, is Europe. Say that continent name with me, Europe. Europe also has the country of Great Britain. Say that with me, Great Britain. Great Britain, another name for Great Britain, is England. Say this with me, England. Now, Europe has Great Britain as one of its countries, and it also has 47 countries. Say this with me, 47 countries. The next continent I want to talk to you about is Asia. Say that with me, Asia. And Asia is the largest continent. Do and say that with me. The largest continent. Asia, the continent of Asia, has the country of China. Say this with me. China. It also has India. Say this with me. India. And we have our Spice Islands that are also a part of Asia. The next continent, large landmass, the next continent I want to talk to you guys about is Africa. Say that with me. Africa. Africa is made up of 54 countries. Say that with me. 54 countries. And this is the west coast of Africa. Say this with me. West coast. So west is one of our cardinal directions, and it is the coast of Africa. Now we're going to move further west, And we are going to do our next continent, which is North America. Say that with me. North America. North America is where the 13 colonies are located. Say 13 colonies with me. 13 colonies. We then, if you move south, have South America. South America is our next continent. Read this with me. South America. In between these two continents, we have the West Indies. Read this with me. West Indies. So we've gone over our continents, and now we are going to go over our oceans. Before we go over our oceans, what I would like for you to do is turn and talk to your neighbor and talk to your neighbor about the different countries and where they are located. Describe their location and see if you can use some cardinal directions as you describe their location. Heads together. Okay, thank you. Welcome back. We're now going to go over our oceans. Say that with me. Oceans. Oceans make up 71% of Earth's surface. Read this with me. 71% of Earth's surface. So we know the other percentage is our continent. Oceans are made up of H2O, which from science we know H2O is 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. Say H2O with me. H2O. So H2O stands for our water. So we had 4 oceans, but in the year 2000, the year 2000 established a 5th ocean. So in the year 2000, they established a 5th ocean. Read this with me. 2000 established 5th ocean. So the oceans have a moderate temperature. A moderate temperature. Read that with me. Moderate temperature. And that temperature is about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Read this with me. 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So it gets its moderate temperature from solar radiation. Read this with me. Solar radiation. Solar coming from the sun. The sun gives off light energy. Read that with me. Light energy, which turns into heat energy. Read that with me. Heat energy. Now we're going to name some of our oceans. We have the Pacific Ocean. Say that with me. The Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean not only touches North America, but also the Pacific Ocean also touches Asia. The Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean. Do and say that with me. The largest ocean. The Pacific Ocean is also the deepest ocean. Do and say that with me. The Pacific Ocean is the deepest ocean. Our next ocean is the Arctic Ocean. Say that with me. Arctic Ocean. The Arctic Ocean is the smallest ocean. Do and say that with me. It's the smallest ocean. The Arctic Ocean is also the most shallow ocean. Do and say that with me. Shallow ocean. Now, I'm going to label, we have the Hudson Bay. The Hudson Bay is not an ocean, but it's a body of water right here in North America, and it's close to the Arctic Ocean, and the Hudson Bay is also next to the Atlantic Ocean. Say Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean was a very busy ocean during the 1700s, and this Arctic Ocean is an S shape. Say this with me, S shape. Now, we also have the Indian Ocean. Say that with me, Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean is located next to India. And we've talked about that fifth ocean that was established. That fifth ocean that was established is known as the Southern Ocean. Say that with me. Southern Ocean. What I would like for you to do is turn and talk to your neighbor and make a prediction about why the Atlantic Ocean was a very busy, popular ocean in the 1700s. Why was the Atlantic Ocean, why was it so busy during the 1700s? Heads together. Okay, our next category that we are going to go over is trade. Say that with me, trade. So, during this time, we had the triangular trade, also known as the triangle trade. Say that with me, triangle trade. The triangle trade was a trade between three main goods. We had manufactured goods. Say that with me, manufactured goods. Manufactured goods. As well as trading slaves. Say that with me. Slaves. And raw material. Say that with me. Raw material. So, I'm first going to go over about the different resources and goods that each continent had. So, starting with Europe. Within the continent of Europe, the country Great Britain, also known as England, one of their goods was iron. Say iron. Iron. And iron was used for their weapons. They also had copper. Say copper. Copper. So copper, that's what a penny is made out of. And they also had tea. Say tea. Tea. So these were the goods that Great Britain had. In Asia, China was known for their silk. Say silk. Silk. And they were known for their porcelain. Say porcelain. Porcelain. Now in India, they were known for their black pepper. Say black pepper. Black pepper. And close by India, we have the Spice Islands. In the Spice Islands, they got their names from all the spices that they had. Their spices that they had were nutmeg. Say nutmeg. Nutmeg. So at Christmas time, people put nutmeg in their drinks. They had mace. Say mace. Mace. And they had lots of fruit. Say fruit. Fruit. Now, our next continent we have is Africa. So what Africa had to trade was slaves. Say slaves. Slaves. Gold. Say gold. Gold. And ivory. Say ivory. Ivory. And ivory comes from an elephant's tusk. In between South America and North America, we had the West Indies. The West Indies had molasses. Say molasses. Molasses. Molasses is like syrup that you can put on your pancakes. And they also had sugar. Say sugar. Sugar. In North America, their 13 colonies, they had rum. Say rum. Rum. And they also had beaver fur near the Hudson Bay. Say beaver fur. Beaver fur. So these different continents had different resources that they were trading. Great Britain was known for having their manufactured goods. Say manufactured goods. Manufactured goods. They were goods that were made within a factory or an item, a good that they had to make. Africa was known for having slaves. People came and took the people living there and made them into slaves and used that for trade. And on the West Coast, there were raw materials such as their molasses, sugar, beaver fur, and rum. Now, these different continents, they traded within the Atlantic Ocean. They would export their goods. Say export. Export. And do this with your hands as we say export. 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 So they're giving away, they're sending out their goods as a trade. They're sending out their goods so that they're able to import goods. Do and say that with me. Import. So these continents were exporting and importing different goods. In addition, their trade also is in a triangle shape. Another way that this trade in the 1700s was known as the triangle trade. Read this with me. Triangle trade. So different countries exported their goods. So for example, in North America, they exported rum, beaver fur, molasses, and sugar. They exported it to Great Britain, and they imported different goods. They brought in iron, copper, tea, slaves, gold, and ivory. And as they traded with one another, these countries, they imported goods, and then they would export as they traded resources that they had on their continents.